Thank you for the nice introduction. And everyone, welcome to my rapid fire fast Ignite talk about SRE. So you want to start SRE, why don't you just start with this talk as the beginning? What can you expect? I talk about if you should implement DevOps or SRE or maybe both of them. I explain some of the important components SRE has to offer and some fundamentals given from a beginner's perspective. So short about me, my name is Daniel. I work at T-Systems Multimedia Solutions. I have a passion for Linux and open source, and here are my Twitter and blog handle if you want to reach out to me later. So what is site reliability engineering? Well, back in the days, we heard it before, like in one of the first talks, DevOps aims to bridge the gap between developers and operations, whereas SRE seeks to fill that gap. So unlike DevOps, it focuses more on the how and not on the what. I can see the faces if you're still uncertain. Here's a real world example. Because as a DevOps lawyer, you would ask your developer team to implement some kind of monitoring, for example, in the application that you then can use. And as a SRE, you would implement the monitoring on your own in the application. Short recap about DevOps. It's all about normal silos between operations and development teams. Accidents are pretty normal, we normalize them, and of course measurement is kind of crucial. What we add now with SRE is we try to reduce toil. I'll explain it later. We embrace risks, we observe distributed systems, and we pursue maximum change velocity without violating our SLOs. But what is a SLO? It's called a service level objective, and it's an agreement within SLA about a specific metric like uptime or response time that you can measure. The SLI is the service level indicator. It is a contract between, measures a compliance within an SLO, and SLIs are the real numbers of your performance, like the numbers that your team really achieved. And last but not least, we have the SLA. It's the service level agreement. It's a cool word for a contract between you and your customer. And it includes all the consequences of meeting or even missing the SLOs. But what is toil? Toil is everything manual, repetitive, automatable work tied to run to a production service. It scales linearly as the service grows, and it often leaves no enduring value at all. But not everything is toil. Don't mix it up, please, because there is some overhead work like team meetings or HR paperwork that are not toil work because it could have some value in it if you do it right. And don't just ignore the real toil, because if you ignore the toil, it can quickly fill up like 100% of everyone's time, and so your engineers won't have time for the real work and are just trying to deleting the toil. Less toil is better, of course it is, and that's why originally Google implemented a below 50% rule for their engineers. That means below 50% of toil work, so that you can spend more time on engineering projects or reduce the existing toil. What else we had? Well, being on call, some of you might already been. Effective troubleshooting, the way we handle emergencies, and the way we handle incidents, like we learn from our failures with blameless postmortems, for example. Emergency response, just keep in mind things break, that's normal, we heard it pretty often today. And then it comes all down to a predefined plan, like incident management in your company, so that you can relieve the pressure from your engineers, that they have more time to figure out the real problem. And if you feel overwhelmed, just pull in more people. It's okay to not know everything. Another big thing in SRE is the blameless postmortem culture. In short, a postmortem is a written event of every action or event that happened during an incident, but everything without finger pointing, so completely blameless, no real names, no nothing. And if you have no dedicated SRE team yet, like we did, that's okay. Just start small, pick some of the components I showed you, and maybe you already implemented some of them, like define some SLOs, embrace a culture of blameless postmortems, or implement a process to manage your production incidents, maybe company-wide. Yeah, my sources, the Google book is a great way to start out. It's free to read if you want to get know more about SRE. And other than that I can say is thank you for listening. I hope you gained some value through this Ignite talk, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the conference. Thank you.